Today, I stand before you as the happiest 16-year-old girl, not because the journey has been smooth, but because at 14, I chose not to wear a victim's badge. Instead, I decided to fight for my rights and pursue the justice so many called impossible. Almost 2 years ago, my name echoed over the loudspeaker at Westfield High School, alongside others, labeled a confirmed victim of AI deepfake non-consensual digital forgery, also called deepfake pornography. The boy responsible, he got a one-day suspension and still walks those halls with me today. When I pressed the administration, why not enforce your own code of conduct, they shrugged and said, there are no AI laws, so we can't. My response, then I'll bring you a law. Well, Westfield High School, this one's for you. Doing nothing is no longer an option, Mrs. Fendis. This fight hasn't been easy, but I didn't walk it alone. I'm here because of the teachers who stood by me, the incredible politicians, Democrats, and Republicans alike who refused to let me face this alone, the First Lady, Lieutenant Governor Tahisha Way, Governor Phil Murphy, and above all, my mom. This law is for every woman and teen dismissed with nothing happened or just move on. It's for kids like Eli from Kentucky, who at 16 took his life last month after an AI-generated explicit image of him was created. Tragically, he's not alone. So thank you to the leaders stepping up, regulating AI, and refusing to look away. But this is also a call to action. Schools must do better. Beyond academics, they need to teach students to protect their image, make clear that AI misuse is now illegal in New Jersey, and ensure no one feels isolated in this like Eli did. I'll never forget Governor Murphy calling me last year after I was named one of Time 100's most influential people in AI. We chatted about our favorite Westfield coffee shops. Who knew we shared the same spots? But what stuck with me was his promise. Francesca, I'm so proud of you, and together we'll fix this. Today, on April 2nd, I'm here to see signed New Jersey's first AI law that will criminalize non-consensual AI explicit digital forgeries. It's a historic moment. But AI isn't just a problem to solve, it's a story of two sides. Yes, it demands regulation to protect us, but it also holds incredible potential. Combating climate change, revolutionizing education, advancing medicine and research, to name a few. At Time 100 events and global AI summits this past year, I've met brilliant minds using AI for good, showing me its power to shape a better future. JFK once said, ask not what your country can do for you, ask what you can do for your country. Today, too many ask what's owed to them. But with AI in our hands, we can shift that. We can ask, what can I do for my community, my future, the world? With that, it's my greatest honor to introduce Governor Phil Murphy, the leader who kept his word, the champion of this cause, and the hero of this moment, who will now sign New Jersey's first law that will criminalize creation of non-consensual AI explicit digital forgeries into existence. Thank you.
You know, in the dictionary, if you look up the phrase short straw, you will find that the definition is following Francesca speaking. Wow, what a tour de force. God bless you. Incredibly honored to be here today. Good morning, everybody. Let me again begin by thanking Francesca Mani for that introduction and for her incredibly powerful words, for your bravery and for your advocacy. We would not be here today without you. As you just heard, Francesca endured a traumatic experience that no one, especially not a young person, should ever have to face. And her extraordinary strength is evident in the powerful movement she has built to help protect others. And today, we are here to ensure that our state follows Francesca's lead and commitment to action. The legislation that I am signing into law today will hold those who use technologies like deepfakes to commit heinous acts like what Francesca experienced. We'll keep those folks accountable and at the same time protect our young people from harm. I want to thank the legislative sponsors who are not with us today, but they did great work here. And in as much as you gave me some very warm and very significant praise. I can't sign a law that doesn't get to my desk without support in the legislature. So I want to make sure I acknowledge by name in the Assembly Majority Leader Lou Greenwald, Assemblywoman Ellen Park, and in the Senate, Senators Paul Moriarty and Kristen Corrado. And I thank each of them. They did great work. I also want to thank former Assemblyman, now Congressman Herb Conaway, who was deeply involved in this, and for all of them for making this legislation possible. I also want to thank, and you're going to hear from each of them in a moment, Lieutenant Governor Tahisha Way and Attorney General Matt Plotkin. Matt and I have been on a similar trail this week. We've been together 2 days in a row, signing, frankly, kind of similar legislation. And their partnership has been crucial to making New Jersey the safest place in America to live, grow up, and raise a family. And by the way, as they say, behind every great leader is a great mom. And especially I want to thank Dorado Mani, who is with us today. Great work to you, Mom, for standing up so strongly on behalf of your daughter and on behalf of this cause and innocent victims more broadly. God bless you both. Keeping our young people safe from harm is one of the most sacred responsibility of any lawmaker. And that responsibility is personal to me, because while I may be governor of New Jersey, I am also a dad. And like all parents, First Lady Tammy Murphy, I want to acknowledge is here. She and I do our best to teach our kids, especially when they were younger, how to stay safe in a sometimes dangerous world. We taught them things like not to talk to strangers, tell us where they're going, and to be careful what they posted on social media. And occasionally, they listened to us. But in a world with rapidly evolving threats, particularly in the virtual realm, it has become harder and harder to keep our nation's kids safe. And it was not that long ago that threats like deepfakes didn't even exist. By the way, our cell phones didn't exist. We're not talking about the 1950s, by the way. My favorite example, this one's personal to Tammy and our kids and me. You may remember Barack Obama, when he was running for president, did a foreign policy trip, including Berlin, when 200,000 people showed up to see him. And there's a famous picture. This is July of 2008. This is not Dwight Eisenhower wasn't president. This is July of 2008. And there's a famous photo taken from behind him with the crowd in front of him. July of 2008. Not one cell phone. Everyone had, if they were taking a picture, had an actual physical camera in their hand. And that wasn't that long ago. But today, this is a very real risk, as just about any bad actor can use artificial intelligence at any time to produce hyper-realistic images and videos that can exploit children, teenagers, and frankly, anyone. In the face of these new dangers, our families and children deserve stronger safeguards. Generally speaking, and Francesca alluded to this, I believe AI is a realm of innovation that offers immense potential to change our world for the better. And here in New Jersey, we are more than proud to lead the way in harnessing generative artificial intelligence to create new opportunities and to make government more efficient and accessible for the people we serve. Include several members, by the way, I should say, of our AI task force are with us today. At the same time, we must be clear-eyed about the risks created by innovation and the potential for generative AI to be misused in harmful ways like deepfakes. And as Francesca expressed, with wisdom, I might add, far beyond her years, deepfakes can cause very real emotional harm, and as you alluded, sadly, in some cases, to loss of life. At their worst, they are violating and dehumanizing. They make it incredibly challenging for us to distinguish between fact and fiction. And most of all, they threaten the safety and well-being of our kids. That is exactly why in just a few moments I will be signing a new law that will establish criminal and civil penalties to ensure individuals who abuse these technologies to harm others are prosecuted to the fullest extent of the law. And Matt will expand on that. The malicious use of AI can affect any one of us, We've already seen bad actors use deepfakes to drive disinformation campaigns with the intent of influencing the outcome of our elections. That is something that Tahisha will touch on in her capacity, not just as Lieutenant Governor, but as Secretary of State. Or to tarnish the reputations of individuals or businesses. We've seen AI abused to exploit young kids, or to conduct sophisticated phishing scams to steal money from working families and seniors. And just like the underlying technology, the threats New Jerseyans face are evolving faster than ever before. And this legislation is a crucial step toward ensuring our laws and regulations evolve right alongside them. We will continue to encourage and empower people in our state who want to use AI to make the world a better place. You mentioned climate change. There are so many powerful uses that you can see coming out of this. But with this law, we are sending a clear message to anyone who uses it to harm people. You will face stiff consequences, by the way, effective the moment I sign this bill. We are acting decisively to protect the safety, security, and dignity of every New Jerseyan, because the future should be shaped by technology used to enrich our world rather than endanger it. So thank you again, Francesca and Mom, for your bravery and for your leadership. And thank you to everyone who helped us get the final version of this bill across the finish line. I mentioned final version, and Kate McDonald, our chief counsel, would probably want me to mention this. Other states have passed bills which have not withstood judicial scrutiny, especially as it relates to First Amendment rights. So we have the benefit in this particular case of learning from those experiences. California, I think, is probably the best example of this, where we have crafted a sort of tweaked version of this bill with the intent that this would hold up under scrutiny going forward. So please God, it does. Again, deep thanks for you for leading the way here. And with that, I will now turn the podium over to one of our state's great champions for protecting the safety of New Jerseyans, and as I mentioned, the security of our elections, Lieutenant Governor Tahisha Way.
Good afternoon, all. I tell you, I am so honored to join Governor Murphy, Attorney General Matt Placken, Francesca, and her lovely mom for today's bill signing. And Francesca, I must say, you are truly the epitome of bravery, awe-inspiring. And I was an English major in college, so I don't do the math, but I know futuristically, don't know the year, I would call you Madam President. Now, while AI technologies present significant opportunity, as a parent, I share the governor's concern for the ways bad actors can use AI to endanger and harm our kids. Moreover, as the state's chief election official in my capacity as Secretary of State, I am concerned that deepfakes can undermine the fairness of our elections, which can be done by manipulating the voters. And I am grateful that today we are also taking a significant step forward in safeguarding the integrity of our democracy. Now, in an era where tech evolves at lightning speed, we must remain vigilant against those who would exploit it for malicious purposes. Deepfakes are a powerful tool for deception, capable of undermining public trust. And any form of election interference is tantamount to voter suppression. Simply, when voters cannot believe what they see or hear, confidence in our electoral system erodes, and with it, the trust that unites us as a society. And this legislation sends a clear message. New Jersey is ready for AI, both for all the good it can do, as our governor mentioned, as well as the dangers it presents. And let the record reflect that by establishing civil and criminal penalties for the creation and distribution of deceptive media, we are holding bad actors accountable. So to close, I have seen firsthand the dedication of those who safeguard our democracy 24/7 through my work. And this bill supports our shared commitment to ensuring that every voter can cast their ballot with confidence. So let this moment serve as a reminder that democracy requires vigilance, action, and courage to confront emerging threats. Together, we are building a future where tech serves the public good, not those who seek to undermine it. Thank you.
Thank you, Tahisha. Well said. And, you know, I'm knocking on wood somewhere here. I guess this paper, we've had, thanks to your leadership, an extraordinary string of successes in terms of open, fair, transparent elections. So deep thanks for everything. I mentioned Matt and I were together yesterday. We've had a number of scourges come upon us, and we're not unique. So this is America right now, perhaps the world, but New Jersey's not immune. We had auto thefts, home invasions, gun crimes, yesterday retail thefts, today deepfakes and other misuse of artificial intelligence. And at every step of the way, we've worked with legislators, we've put bills together, good example today, to address that, thanks to legislative leadership. But then when you put a bill together that comes to my desk, I sign it, we need enforcement, and there's no better enforcer than our Attorney General. Please help me welcome Matt Plackett.
Thank you, Governor. Which I said to your family, thank you for your advocacy. I'm so sorry for what you went through, but I commend your bravery. I think I started out advocating in high school on gun violence issues. It was totally unsuccessful. So I admire the fact that not only have you stood up, you got a piece of legislation at the governor's desk, which is remarkable. I want to thank the governor and the First Lady who have made it their mission to champion the safety and the mental health of particularly of our kids. And they've supported our office, as the governor said, along with the LG, in every step of the way in doing this work. And throughout the now 7+ years that the governor's been in office, one thing that I think has been a hallmark is that he's listened to law enforcement where there were gaps in our laws where we needed to address a problem. He was the first governor to sign a law banning ghost guns when we realized back in 2019, way before they were a topic of conversation, that law enforcement did not have the tools to address a critical problem affecting the safety of our residents. And this is a very good example of doing just that, because Francesca, your case and cases like yours, frankly, brought to light a gap in our criminal laws and in our civil laws that left our residents vulnerable to real harms. And this technology, as powerful and as transformational as it can be, also has risks. And the LG talked about it. The governor talked about it. It only takes a few seconds of somebody's voice to turn an audio recording into a deepfake. We saw that in our elections last year. You've endured it, Francesca, and we now know that there are ways we can prevent it. And so what this law does, and I'll be very brief, is very simple. It says if you are going to create a non-consensual deepfake, if you're going to solicit one, and if you're going to distribute it, you are now going to be held accountable to the fullest extent of the law. There's no more ambiguity. And as the governor said, we're fully prepared to defend that law in court. You'll face up to 5 years in prison. In this particular crime, we have elevated, the legislature and the governor are elevating the financial penalties to $30,000 an offense. And importantly, the penalties associated with this crime run consecutively with any other crimes that you've committed in conjunction with it. So let me be clear. If you do something that constitutes cyberbullying or endangering the welfare of a child, and you use a deepfake, your penalties are going to be consecutive. You're going to pay the price double time. So we're sending a very clear message to the state of New Jersey that this is a real threat, particularly to our kids. I thank the governor, the first lady, and the legislature for addressing this and for listening to both the victims of these heinous acts and also to law enforcement and standing with them. So thank you, Governor. I appreciate all the support.
First of all, Matt, deep thanks for this and for the whole range of steps that we've taken together. And again, in absentia, I want to thank our legislative partners. That consecutive element should be a particular deterrent to anybody messing in this space. And God willing, what happened to you doesn't happen ever again to anybody in New Jersey. So as they say in Hollywood, it's a wrap. I'd love to invite Francesca, Mom, Tahisha, and Matt to come on up and join me as I sign this. Thank you. First, the money shot without my glasses. I can't see a thing without them, so. But apparently this plays better in pictures, so here we go. Okay, now, thank God, I'll be able to see the bill. You ready?
Yeah.
Pretty cool. So this is Assembly Bill 3540. Sponsors, I mentioned them earlier, and importantly, a bipartisan group. Including your Senator, John Bramnick, is one of the co-sponsors. But the main sponsors are Herb Conaway, and Herb is now Congressman Herb Conaway, Majority Leader Lou Greenwald, Assemblywoman Ellen Park, and Senators Paul Moriarty and Kristen Corrado. And the synopsis says, as Matt alluded to, establishes criminal penalties for production or dissemination of deceptive audio or visual media commonly known as deepfakes. Hi, Mike. With that, shall we? Pen number 1, as it always should be, Francesca Monti. Congratulations. Shockingly, pen number 2 to a courageous mom, Dorana Monti. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Lieutenant Governor Tahisha Way. Bless you. And Attorney General Matt Plackett. Congratulations. And with that, I am honored to say, I'll stand up and say this. But I don't want to step on anybody. Button my coat to make sure you look the part here. Come on in tighter. This is now the law of the land.